Welcome back to Lehigh Valley Sports Scene. I'm Gwen Begley, and I was lucky enough to witness a great volleyball match last night, and we hope you were too for our live coverage of high school volleyball here on the Service Electric Network. Last night's match between Parkland and Freedom was the first of many that we will be broadcasting this fall, and they really kicked off our coverage in a big way. Both Parkland and Freedom were coming into yesterday's match undefeated. The Trojans with a mark of 6-0 and the Patriots with a mark of 7-0. So far this year, Parkland has not lost a single set, cruising through 3-set sweeps all the way down the schedule. And as for Freedom, they've been pretty impressive as well, kicking off their 2021 campaign with a 5-set win over Bethlehem Catholic, who are the defending state champions in the 2A class. So this game had a ton of storylines, none more incredible than the connection between these two. Freedom head coach Donna Roman, who's in her 8th season with the Pates, and Mike Krause for Parkland, who's in his 18th season. Now, back in the 90s, Krause was the head coach of Lehigh women's volleyball, and guess who played for him for his 4 years with the Mountain Hawks? Yep, that would be Donna Roman, head coach of Freedom. Funny how things work out. Well, Mike Krause's Trojans would struggle against Freedom all throughout the match. The two squads kept it close in the first, though. Freedom with a stellar defense, keeping this within a couple points before the Trojans will start to break away. Sydney Esquieres with a kill to lift the Trojans up by 3. And Elena Purcell will fire a rocket to the hardwood to go up 17-13. Parkland will win the set off a blocking error, 25-17. The second set was a points trade as well until Freedom kicked it into high gear. Elena Roman on the outside for a kill, part of a 7-point run for the Patriots that put them back on top by 2. The Trojans, though, would continue to fight. Bryn Dreisbach spikes this down to remain within a couple. That part of her 23-kill effort. Down 20-17, the Trojans will claw their way back, going on a 4-point run to retake the lead, 21-20. But Freedom just continued to battle the Patriots, going on a 4-point run to close out this set and take the win. The first set the Trojans have lost this entire season, 25-23 was the final. Freedom takes that momentum and rides with it into the third, staying one step ahead of the Trojans. Grace Hersig had 6 kills for the Pates, who led 17-13 until Parkland got some wind under their sails for a comeback. Trojans will take their first lead of the set, 17-16, and ride with that until the end. Elena Purcell had 14 kills and 3 blocks as Parkland goes up 2-1 in the match with a 25-23 third set win. The fourth set was close until Parkland goes on a 6-point run to take an 18-11 advantage. Man, Freedom was gassed as the Trojans just took off and took control. Parkland wins the fourth set 25-15 and the match 3-1.
I think it was just like cleaning up our serving and our serve receive. I think both of those really improved in the fourth set, and those are both two of our strengths. So I think when those are flowing, the rest of the plays flow.
For us, it's always a team effort, and it takes a lot of energy. I feel like in the second set, we were up a little bit, but we had a slow start to the game, and we lacked that energy and what we call benergy, our bench energy. And then in the first set, yeah, we clicked. Our team chemistry really came together, and we just had a lot of fun. So I think that was the main difference.
Once we have a good serve that goes over the net, then if the pass is off, then it gives us time to get our defense ready and to it's more predictable for whatever they're sending over the net.
It was hard. They're a really, really solid team. They have really good serving too, and their defense is amazing. So it was just like us fighting them the whole time.
We totally respect this team coming in. We watched a lot of film to prepare, and we knew that they were going to be challenging and they'd bring the heat. So we were so honored that we were able to play them and that they made it difficult for us, because that's the only way we learn. And we were so happy with the outcome.
To be the best, you got to play the best. So Parkland improved to 7-0 while Freedom suffers their first loss, now 7-1. The Patriots will look to get back into the win column against Liberty on Friday. Meanwhile, Parkland is on to Pleasant Valley tomorrow as well. Now for a look at some scores from around the valley. Bethlehem Catholic improved to 6-2 on the season with a sweep over Allentown Central Catholic. The Vikings struggling this season, now 2-5. It was a good one over at Northampton. The K-Kids taking it to 5 sets against Easton. Northampton now 6-3 on the year, while the Rovers dropped to 4-5. Emmaus, one of the top teams in the district, going up against Liberty, also one of the top teams. Now these sets were only separated by a few points, but the Hornets were able to see it through with a 3-set sweep, remaining undefeated, 8-0 on the season. Allen picked up their second win of the year, taking down Deeriff with a 3-set sweep. And finally, Nazareth also taking it in 3 against Whitehall. Now let's take a look at our standings in the East Penn Conference. Freedom still on top of the EPC East at 7-1. Bethlehem Catholic close behind, though. Now remember, those two went to 5 sets in the first match of the season where the Pates came out on top. Those two will face on October 4th, so mark that one down. As for the EPC West, Parkland taking that #1 spot in style last night against Freedom. They are 7-0, and Emmaus right behind at 8-0. They still have yet to really be tested and challenged despite a tough win over Liberty last night. Emmaus and Parkland will be facing next week, and we're actually going to have that match live for you here on the Service Electric Network. Couldn't miss that one. And we're also going to have Emmaus's match with Nazareth live as well. So take a look at our schedule for those upcoming matches next week. All right, well, we are just a day away from another exciting